John Benitez.
Tell us your story, John.
I got involved with the commission through a good friend of mine, Robert Housen. And Robert, my wife and I met Robert and his lovely wife, Sarah, at a Lamaze class in 1987. And we had a great training at that. And at one point, while we're in the middle of Lamaze class training sessions, Robert called me one evening and asked if I would be interested in working with the Colorado Baseball Commission as counsel to serve on a pro bono basis to help get Major League Baseball here in Colorado. And I very quickly said yes, I would love to have Major League Baseball here in Colorado. And I then went to meetings with the Baseball Commission and started serving as counsel to the Colorado Baseball Commission, which was an honor to do. So as part of that work for the Baseball Commission, I recall reviewing the statute that was passed to authorize the formation of the Baseball Commission, and then worked with the Commission and its advisors through the process of identifying consultants to work with the Commission, organizing the Commission from drafting the bylaws, and working with the structure of the Commission to make sure that it was consistent with the authority that it had under the statute. As part of that, I also recall going to the meetings with the very early groups that were identified as potential owners of the team, and coordinating with Paul Jacobs, another counsel, and working with Paul to share with him the thoughts really on behalf of the Colorado Baseball Commission as to what the ownership group, the structure should be in order to be consistent with the authority that was initially granted the Baseball Commission to get baseball here in Colorado, and to have it structured in a way that was for the benefit of the fans and the ownership group, so that it would work. And so as counsel of the Baseball Commission, I provided comments to the prospective ownership group through their counsel as to how that ownership group should be structured, whether it was consistent with the authority that was originally granted the Baseball Commission, and presented those issues to the prospective ownership group and their counsel. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of work going on at that point in time, a lot of uncertainty, quite frankly, as to whether or not the franchise would ultimately be awarded. But a lot of my focus was with respect to whether or not there were any legal issues associated with the Baseball Commission that either it was fulfilling or maybe not fulfilling that it should be fulfilling, and to guide the Commission along those lines from a legal standpoint.
So, and you looked at contracts that the Baseball Commission entered into?
Reviewed contracts with political consultants for the campaign, reviewed just the general legal issues, yes, associated with the Baseball Commission. And again, it was a real honor and privilege to serve in a pro bono capacity. And now as I look back on it, it's even more fun to look back on it because of the successes of the baseball team and how it's been received here in Colorado. It's been terrific.
In addition to the Baseball Commission, I know that we had to spin off a different group to handle the political campaign that was called Baseball for Colorado. Did you also set up that entity with the Secretary of State's office?
I believe I did. I know if it was, certainly because it was affiliated with the Baseball Commission, it would have been something I would have been involved with in forming that and drafting the bylaws and the charter for that company.
Right, and we had certain, if we were taking in money, we had to make certain reports to the Secretary of State on where those funds came from and what the expenditures were. And
yeah, Kathy, that was all part of the legal compliance, and so those would have been issues I would have looked at as well. Yes.
And so, you know, we had a lot of people who did a lot of great pro bono work for us, and to much public or private financial sacrifice. If you had it to do over again, would you do it?
10 times. Absolutely. No, I would. Sincerely. It was, you know, at the time, sure, getting up early in the mornings, going to the meetings, there were times, particularly since I had a young son at that point in time, our first child, there were times getting up and getting going thinking, wow, this is a commitment. But it was a commitment that was gladly undertaken, quite frankly. And as I had the privilege of working with other members of the Baseball Commission and also seeing the dedication amongst all the people that were there, no one was getting paid. It was, I was going to say it's a labor of love. It was beyond that, because it was a labor of love for the sport, but it was also something that, because of the work that you all did getting the legislation through and pushing that, and now there was a wedge in the door that was open that we could step through as long as we did it right. So it was an honor to serve and to be there. It really was. Now looking back on it, the time, you forget about the amount of time that it took, and you look at the result of everybody's efforts. And whenever I walk into that stadium, and whenever I watch the Rockies take the field, I often hear people in my days serving as counsel of the Baseball Commission with their very strong commitment to making this work in the face of adversity and opposition. Expressions like a penny on $10, Larry Varnell would use with us and say, there are people who are in opposition to what we're here trying to do today from an economic standpoint. And he would say, shoot, it's just a penny on $10. And that's what it was. And we all get our focus with statements like that. And my little niche was to help from the standpoint of the legal issues and to make sure there wasn't a misstep there. So with those situations, and because there were no missteps because of what everybody was doing, it wasn't just from a legal and compliance standpoint. There are a lot of ways there could have been missteps. It all worked and it all came together, and it was a fabulous success story, and it goes on today, which is really fun. It's truly fun.
Right. Well, we really appreciate your time and effort. You did a great job.
A real privilege. Thank you. I appreciate you guys doing this. Thanks for
Great. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thanks for doing this, guys.